Fans of Keeping Up with the Kardashians know this is a family that loves to share some lighthearted laughs and fun pranks. But there is also no lack of intensely dramatic moments, and we aren't talking about the time Kim lost her earring in the ocean. Let's take a look back at some of the most dramatic moments ever captured on the show. Before we begin, make sure to click on the subscribe button and turn on your notifications for more videos from TheTalko. Let's get started. Tristan Thompson. Sure, being on Keeping Up with the Kardashians has earned the family a ton of money, but there are some drawbacks. One of the major ones is having all of your relationship dramas playing out for millions of people to see. Fans were ecstatic to hear Khloe Kardashian was expecting a baby with her partner, Tristan Thompson. But that all changed when it was confirmed he had cheated on Khloe while she was pregnant with their child. As much as Khloe might like to pretend it didn't happen by showing up and cheering at Thompson's basketball games, the rest of the family isn't so quick to forgive. Kim Kardashian revealed on the Ellen DeGeneres show that she's still furious about it. During season 15 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, we finally get to see this harrowing part of Khloe's life addressed on television. The Christmas card. All of the women in the Kardashian family have very strong personalities. While this makes them great businesswomen, it does lead to some serious clashes from time to time. More often than not, Kourtney Kardashian acquiesces to the desires of her siblings, but not during the first episode of season 15. She ends up getting into a power struggle with her sister Kim over the timing of a family Christmas photo shoot. For once, Kourtney stands up for herself and calls Kim out for being inconsiderate of her schedule. This goes over pretty much as well as you can imagine, with Kourtney accusing her siblings of being materialistic and selfish, and Khloe and Kim furious at Kourtney for disrupting the status quo. Although they ultimately managed to resolve their scheduling conflict, you could cut the tension with a knife, and it's clear these sisters have a lot of work to do in order to repair their relationships. Therapy. There has always been a stigma surrounding mental illness, but thankfully it's more acceptable than ever to seek help. Kourtney Kardashian once confessed to sobbing in the bathroom while filming season 1 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians because she couldn't handle the stress. Although she loves her siblings, Kourtney realized they can be toxic to one another at times and started going to therapy to learn how to set proper boundaries and deal with her feelings. If you thought Kim and Khloe would be supportive of this, you apparently don't watch the show enough. Kim and Khloe claim they hate Kourtney's therapist and rage against her while Kourtney does her best to keep her composure. Eventually, Kourtney calls her siblings out for their lack of support, but Khloe and Kim won't hear of it. Scott and Kourtney. Fans of Keeping Up with the Kardashians know the relationship between Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick has been tumultuous at best. In fact, we could do a whole video of just their over-the-top dramatic moments. But during season 15, the pair have long since split up, and Disick was dating Sophia Richie at the time. He talks about how strange it is dating someone other than Kourtney, and somehow his resigned sadness is stranger than his past fights. Despite the fact that they're not together and Disick is seeing someone new, Khloe still asks him if he thinks he and Kourtney will ever be back together. These two have gone through so much and have 3 beautiful children together, and it becomes clear Disick is having trouble truly moving on from his relationship with Kourtney. This is one door which is definitely being left open, and we can't wait to see what happens. Pregnancies. During season 15, both Khloe Kardashian and her sister Kylie Jenner were pregnant. Although the Kardashians are famous for oversharing, Khloe surprisingly was hesitant to announce she was expecting for some touching reasons. The first was that she had to overshadow Kylie, who was 3 months ahead of her at the time. But after Kylie gave her blessing, Khloe admitted there was more to the story. For so long, she had publicly struggled with her weight and had finally earned her revenge body. At this time, she felt as though she was showing enough to look chubby, but not enough to look actually pregnant. While Kylie stayed secluded during her pregnancy because she wanted the time to be personal, Khloe initially hid out of fear. Kim pointed out that her body issues had caused her not to leave the house for weeks at a time. Invite list. The Kardashian family loves celebrating Christmas, but sometimes their guest list can be a point of contention. Most of the family wanted to invite Kourtney's ex, Scott Disick, while she thought it might be awkward to have both him and Eunice Benjima around at the same time. Naturally, this caused an argument, but surprisingly, Kendall Jenner had some words to say on the subject. Ever since Caitlyn Jenner transitioned, she has been unwelcome in the Kardashian home, and her stepchildren no longer speak to her. Kendall Jenner pointed out that Kris Jenner wasn't inviting Caitlyn for the same reason Kourtney didn't want to invite Scott Disick. Kendall tends to be quieter compared to her other siblings and really let out her feelings on the subject, but as is usually the case, it seemed as though nobody was listening to her. Stormy. Of course, bringing a new child into the world is always a dramatic moment, but when Kylie Jenner gave birth to little Stormy, people were particularly interested because up until this point, we had heard precious little about Kylie's pregnancy. Kim Kardashian called it the best kept secret of our generation, and maybe that's a bit hyperbolic, but we can see where she's coming from. Kylie was a first-time mother who gave birth at a young age, but sadly her family couldn't resist using this as an opportunity to trash talk Caitlyn Jenner. At one point, Kris Jenner brags about being there when Stormy was born, then immediately says this proves Caitlyn Jenner was wrong about their inability to keep things a secret. Then Kim lays a smooch on baby Stormy and claims she got her first kiss. It was played off as a joke, but Kylie definitely wasn't laughing. Old wounds. Khloe and Kim aren't the only family members Kourtney is attempting to get along better with during season 15 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We all know that Kourtney's father, Robert Kardashian Sr., passed away years ago. Kourtney was extremely close to her father and even wanted to live with him after her parents' divorce. She felt she never had the chance to bond with Kris during this tumultuous time in her life, and that as a parent, Kris should have been the one reaching out. These two finally have it out, and perhaps surprisingly, Kris Jenner is receptive to Kourtney's feelings. She promises to try to be closer to her eldest daughter, and Kourtney vows to talk to her instead of bottling up her feelings. It was a tearful moment, but hopefully one both mother and daughter can learn from. Gabbana. Season 15 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians was mostly about welcoming new lives into the world, but we did end up saying goodbye to one dear old friend. It's no secret that the Kardashians are big animal lovers, and their beloved black lab, Gabbana, has been part of the family for over a decade. Although technically she belonged to Khloe, everyone was heartbroken when Gabbana's health began to deteriorate and she had to be put to sleep. Kendall Jenner had grown up alongside Gabbana and seemed to be particularly upset over her passing. In a sweet sisterly moment, Khloe presented Kendall with a necklace featuring a print of Gabbana's paw. Khloe also revealed she would be having her pet cremated and would keep the ashes. Saying goodbye to her old friend, Gabbana, and getting ready to welcome baby True into the world was a tough moment for Khloe. Scheming. While we've seen all of the Kardashian sisters fight with one another, things are looking particularly grim between Kourtney and Kim. Despite the fact that both Kourtney and Scott Disick were dating different people, Kim decided it would be great if they had a fourth child together. She cooks up a scheme involving an IVF procedure and emails the family about it. The only problem is that Kourtney ends up CC'd on the email, and she's less than pleased. Kourtney is livid and tells Kim she doesn't like the person she's become and calls her a town gossip. Although the two seem to make up and then immediately embark on a vacation, it doesn't seem as though anything has really resolved. The standard Kardashian method of dealing with things doesn't seem to be enough to heal the growing rift between Kourtney and Kim. Stepping back. During season 15, we saw Kourtney taking a huge step back from her personal dramas with Scott Disick, but in season 14, she was still struggling to set proper boundaries. Her ex-boyfriend called her up at 2 o'clock in the morning, talking all sorts of nonsense and demanding to know what they're doing with their lives. Kourtney tells him in no certain terms that they're not together anymore. She has moved on and suggests he do the same. We were so proud of her for hanging up the phone and refusing to get sucked into his drama. But of course, later on, Kourtney can't resist checking on him to make sure he's okay. Once he gets aggressive with her, she seems to realize she needs to set proper boundaries in order to protect herself. This moment was a huge setup for the much stronger Kourtney we saw during season 15. Labels. Kourtney Kardashian isn't the only member of the Kardashian family committed to bettering herself. Khloe admits when she was younger, she had a serious problem with embellishing the truth. Although she's long grown out of that phase, she hasn't been able to shake the label. Khloe complains her sisters refuse to believe anything she says, particularly Kim. Eventually, Khloe had enough of Kim's doubt during season 14 and screamed that Kim isn't a loyal person. Both sisters took some time apart in order to calm down, but there was a little bump in the road. Kim tried to chat with Khloe over the phone, but it ended up with her saying, "Call me back when you feel like being a decent human being." Ouch! Thankfully, these two sisters were able to have a more productive conversation later when cooler heads prevailed. Kendall's controversy. One of the many reasons we find Keeping Up with the Kardashians to be so compelling is this family never runs out of ways to surprise us. Kendall is generally the one staying out of trouble, which might have made this situation even worse for her. We're sure you all remember her disastrous Pepsi commercial, which was almost immediately pulled for being controversial. We got to see Kendall dealing with the fallout on season 14 of the show, and to say it was tough would be an understatement. Her sisters try to reassure Kendall that this will all blow over, but according to Kendall, this hasn't been the case. She's clearly mortified by the situation and doesn't believe she should be vilified for making a commercial appearance. The normally cool Kendall even breaks down sobbing at one point over the unfortunate incident. Surrogacy. Kris Jenner now has many grandchildren, but 3 of them were still in utero during season 15. While Kylie Jenner and Khloe Kardashian spent that time pregnant, Kim Kardashian hired a surrogate to carry her baby, who they named Chicago. The births of her first 2 children, North and Saint, were traumatic because of health concerns, so she and Kanye decided on a surrogate. Although Kim claimed to be happy with her decision, this doesn't mean the process was totally worry-free. While talking with her grandmother, Kim revealed that she was terrified she wouldn't be able to bond with little Chicago the way she did with her other children. It's a scary prospect for a mom, but thankfully Kim later reveals she had no issue feeling close to the newest member of her family. Announcement. When Khloe Kardashian found out she was pregnant with her baby True, she waited a while before going public with the news. But this doesn't mean she didn't get to do a dramatic reveal for her family. She and Tristan Thompson brought their respective families together for a fabulous barbecue, but the guests had no idea what was really in store. The parents-to-be announced Khloe's pregnancy, and the reactions were over the top. There were many happy tears being shed, and Kris Jenner remarked she never thought this day would come. The members of the Kardashian family do fight with one another frequently, but when it really matters, they always find ways to support one another. Khloe's pregnancy announcement was met with pure love and joy from her friends and family. What was your favorite dramatic moment on Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Was there any moment we missed that you love? Share it with us in the comment section, then click on the subscribe button for more videos from TheTalko. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.